Alright, hello YouTube. Finally back with my 600-page sketchbook slam tour. I tried to do this for the entire month of August. I was super proud of myself because I thought I finished it. And then when I was looking back through the book, I realized there's about 10 pages in here that I somehow missed. So just to start out, the system that I had was kind of crazy at first. You're supposed to do the 20 pages a day, but there were a couple days that I got behind, and so when I would get behind, I would just write down those pages and go back and work on them later after I finished the other 20 pages. But the list ended up getting so long toward the end of the month as I got closer to school starting. And I lost track of a bunch of things apparently and thought I was done. The last night of August, I was up till, oh my gosh, basically midnight trying to finish the book. It was crazy. I did about a 16-hour drawing day. It was just ridiculous. But this was just such a fun challenge. And I don't want to leave this book as is. I kind of really want to go back and flesh out a couple more things now. I guess it was more just to prove to myself if I could even draw that much. And I technically didn't. I'm kind of embarrassed. I really thought I finished. I was celebrating and everything. I even got myself a little treat. And now it's like, I didn't even really finish it. Oh, so I was trying to do 20 pages of comics every Monday, so these were kind of my thumbnails. That lasted for about 3 sessions, and then I just got 2 behind. I don't know how well you'll be able to see the pencils. They're so light on some of these pages. That's kind of another reason why I want to go back over some things. I just want to darken them up a little bit more. But this challenge was so difficult, but I had so much fun doing it, honestly. But it's definitely the most I've ever drawn, period. I mean, probably in 1 year, let alone 1 month. So kind of a nice way to really kick off my school semester, I suppose. I'm in my last semester of nursing school, so I really don't get a lot of free time to draw. So I really wanted to have a full month before I started back up again. And I'm pretty happy that I did it. Now some of this stuff's going to be ugly, I'm not going to lie. I tried to do pen in some parts just to work faster. I was working way too slow. And I knew that I had to work fast because I watched everyone else's videos about how they had to work to be able to finish. And I still was slow, and I think I'm just slow maybe, but let me pull this up a little more. It's hard to get the angle right because this book is just so big and I'm filming on a cell phone. So I can't tell how much you can see, and I really would like to show some of the detail in some of these. I did a lot of scenes for comics and just different poses, action poses I was trying to work on doing, and there's a little bit of anatomy. There's a lot of background scenes. Oh, this is one of the terrible ones. I made a note to myself to paint over this particular section. I tried it with pen. It started going south. I couldn't fix anything. And I really was trying to get into some animals and dragons. I like how some of the forms came out when I was sketching with pen. I really did have a lot of fun. Even the bad ones, I like them because they all have kind of a story. I was trying to show movement, action. I like to watch a lot of animators who draw on YouTube, and they're able to capture so much motion in just a single image, and I really wanted to kind of do that myself. Where are we at? We're on page 59. I numbered every other page so I'd be able to keep tabs, and it halfway worked, but I'm so bummed that I didn't finish. I had like a whole list of pages I had to go back and work on because I was so far behind. Oh my gosh. And some of these are just scenes. I guess I didn't give a censor or a preface or anything. This came out really cool. I like how that was. That was colored pencil. I was doing this with my brother and my brother-in-law, and my brother was using colored pencil through his, and it gave some really cool effects, so I wanted to start doing that. But of course, it made everything take even longer, so I really had to quit. I did it just a few times, and I said, it's slowing me down even more. And probably, honestly, 95% of this book is just straight out of my head, but there's a couple pages like this. I just wanted to try to draw these statues so I could focus on value and shading. I'm really not the greatest at that. So this was just Google Images on this page. I'll say whenever there's a reference that I used, but everything else, if I don't say it, is just from my head. And I was really trying to get into drawing different shapes of faces and different planes of the face, and older versus younger. Oh my gosh, this cracks me up. I was with my nephews and they have this little shark toy and they told me to draw it, so I drew him punching a sock monkey. That was kind of funny. I want to ink some of these and just color them in. I think it will be a lot of fun. So that's why I wanted to record this video, because once I record it, I'll have that cemented in time where you can see what it looked like when I first finished it, and then I can go back and do whatever I want to it and just color and have fun. I have a lot of characters for my comics that I drew. What the heck is this? This was something on my desk. I think I was trying to do a blind contour. I was trying different things that I don't normally do. My dragons, I was trying to draw dragons a lot. I didn't really get that much better at it, but some horses. I'm pretty sure the horses, these are from reference, because I don't know how to just draw a horse off the top of my head. Well, now I kind of do. I did it a lot in this book, but starting out I had to use these references for anatomy and the muscles, and I wanted to go back and add the red and the black pen like I did with the first couple anatomy pages, but I didn't get a chance to. These are referenced from Google. Referenced and then back to my head. I love drawing faces, if you can't tell. I like drawing people in general. But I tried to do a little more than that in this book. Let's see. I made up a little goblin guy. My pencils are so light, it's very hard to see. I got all the windows open in here right now so I can get some natural light in here, so hopefully it helps, but I want to go back and darken up like I said. This page is so empty compared to everything else. There's literally one thing on it. Every other page I really tried to go the mile here, and I was just comparing sizes of different characters and heights. And I did it with men and women just to see differences in build. These other people are just giants apparently, but that's fun. More scenes. Can't tell how well this second part is in the frame because the clip for the phone is covering half the screen. More scenes. I want to go back and color some of these in. I think it would be funny just to post them on my Instagrams. I really like, oh god, here's another failed attempt here. I have this lighting idea I want to do. I'm trying to get better at different lighting effects and that. Well, this was a fail, so we gotta attempt it again. Another comic scene. I really can't read my writing that well, but it looks like they're having an argument. Hands. Random faces of characters that I have. And then I started doing these self-portraits in the mirror every day. So I would do that one. There's a couple good ones in here. Sorry, nudity. No, nothing to say there. These were referenced images. I wanted to draw some vehicles. So I have a fighter jet, just a very basic one. Don't ask me what kind it is. I didn't write all that down. And then airplanes, motorcycles, boats. All these are referenced. Some of the cars, they're not really specific. I just look at a general shape of a car and try to draw it. And now we're back to my head. I got really into looking at these creepy medieval drawings of the devil, and I tried to come up with my own concept of one, so you'll see him quite a bit toward the end of the book. Then we have some anatomy stuff. Oh, I didn't realize I could turn this. Okay, that helps a lot. More anatomy, poses, even that's all for my head. I don't look up anatomy that much. I did at the end, and you're going to see how crappy it looks too. As I was rushing. Oh, I have this children's encyclopedia I was using for inspiration, so when I would run out of ideas, I would just open up in there and just find something. This was based off a little statue that was in there, and I thought it was really cool, so I tried to do some architecture. We got a pirate ship. This must have been the encyclopedia. I was going to do a bunch of hand studies, and I started to, and it was okay at first, but it was just so boring. I just couldn't keep doing it. I don't do great with studies. I just lose interest right away. This page is awful. Back to the dragon. Trying to draw my cat. Got some food on the page. Very not happy about that. Here we go. Back to the self-portraits. This one is not the greatest one, but this one came out really good. I would just do them before work. I guess I didn't really talk about that either, but I work full-time. I work night shift, so a lot of times if I had to work my shifts in a row, then I would be having to do my 20 pages before work, but if I work consecutive days in a row, I get off around 7:30, get home, and I might take a nap, but then I get up and I only have a short window of time before I have to get ready to go back to work. So that put me behind on a lot of days, because some days I have to sleep more than others. You just get tired, especially night shift. It always throws you off anyway. So there were quite a few days where I slept too long, and that's how I got behind on my pages. But that's okay. I had a lot of fun. I really did a lot. This is the most I've ever drawn, ever. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages. I really love this. I wanted to draw somebody riding a dragon. Let's see if I can lift this up. It's so heavy I can't even hardly move the book. I really like how this came out, though. It's one of my favorites. And they're like flying out of a castle. And it's so simple right now. I'm kind of afraid to ink it because I don't want to ruin it. But maybe I'll photocopy it and then ink it. Then I'll still have an original pencil, or I can scan it into the computer and just save it that way. So still from my head, this is a scene from something, but I didn't really finish it very well. But some of these had to be very sketchy and loose just to be able to get through it. We're only at page 141. Then I came up with this kind of Pegasus guy character. I don't know. I was having a lot of fun drawing him. He's going to be in a bunch of this book. More characters, vehicles. I think these were not from reference. That's why they look so wonky. I was trying to remember how I drew them the first time. I got somebody riding a seahorse or a dragon. A really terrible seahorse right here. Usually, I used to draw really good with pen, and now I just, oh my gosh, everything has just been looking like trash. I don't know if it's just the pen I was using. Some pens, they flow different than others, and you get ink blobs, but this one came out okay, and I'm pretty sure, I think this was a different pen than what was on the other page. This was all pen here. These are just two little characters I made up while I was working on this book. I really had fun drawing these people with horse legs for some reason. It's so hard to get the proportions right. And I tried to draw somebody riding on the back of this horse, man. Very hard to see. The pencils are just too light. So that was fun, just to try something different. Another scene with a sticker. They're looking at his horse bits, and they're all shocked. I'll show you their faces, but I guess I won't take that up just because it's kind of messed up. Even this guy is shocked down in the corner. He's showering. It was a joke. Anyway, these are from Google. I was just trying to play with some backgrounds and add some color and things. I like how those came out, but again, they took way too much time. This is kind of a little beach scene. And then I have kind of a pier, carnival, Cedar Point type thing. And moving on. Pen sketches. I think I was just losing steam at this point. These were some of the pages I had to go back and do, because this is from the 22nd on this page. I just messed up everything. I was so behind. Now we're getting back to comic pages. My comic day was Mondays, so I would do all my thumbnails Sunday, in theory, but that never happened, so then I was behind on those. I really like doing the comic pages, though. I got about 60 pages of comic in here. I was supposed to have 100 by the end, but I ended up not doing it for the other couple days. I just drew whatever because I was so behind. It was taking too long, but I do want to finish this comic. It was a really fun concept. So I think that'll be my end of the year project, maybe. I'm not really getting into a lot of detail with these right now. I mean, all the drawings are there, but there's nothing filled in. You can't really tell what they're saying. And alright, anyway, let's see. Page 183, concepts for the comic. Really liked these pages. That was with pen. It came out really nice. And this is when I was inspired by my brother again to do the colored pencil. Oh, I started putting papers in here to protect these pages. I didn't have my fixative on me. Spent way too much time shading a bunch of old characters. I was drawing characters how I used to draw them back in high school, and everybody used to have this emo hair with the mullet, and they had really big eyes, and I kind of draw big eyes still, but not as big. I just took this from my nephew to put in here to protect the paper. one of my characters, Eduardo. Oh, this was a game we were playing. That's what this is. I forgot. We were doing characters that we have for every letter of the alphabet. So it started with A, Artemis, Arden. B was Bryant and Bryce. And C was Shondell and Carter. And D was Demi, Dante. These are all characters of mine. Eduardo. I'm not going to go through every single character, but Fiora, G, she was named G, H is Hayden, Heather. It was a fun game. We kind of tried to do the whole alphabet. I had one letter I didn't have any character for. I was really mad about that. So we're on I, J, K, L, M. Oh, that was a self-portrait. I kind of started doing that to fill in pages, and this was in the middle of those pages I need to fill in. So we'll get back to the alphabet thing a little later because it picks up. It's so unorganized. My book was pure chaos. This kind of is a cheater page. There's really nothing on it. Oh well. I was trying out some Crayola markers on this paper. This paper does not take marker well at all. It was pilling and it just, I don't know. And then the colors I used, I mean, it's not the greatest picture, let's be honest, but I just wanted to see how the markers would do. Concepts for the comic I was drawing. More scenes in my book. What's happening here? It says if you're caught here, it would be big trouble. She's not supposed to be in that part. That cat girl keeps showing up. This was supposed to be a scene. I didn't finish the scene. I just put the horse guy on the ground. I didn't know horses laid down. Imagine my shock watching Google videos, or I was on YouTube watching videos about horses, and they lay down, they sleep laying down, they move their legs and sit. It was just, I don't know, it was fun to watch. So I would watch those videos and then turn around and draw in my book. That was a lot of fun. More scenes from some comics. I can't wait to go through this. I just want to darken everything up. I was going to take a whole day to do that, but school started already and I have had zero time between work and class to do any art, and I'm kind of depressed about it. I'm hoping today after I do this video I can work on some things. That was just pencil to protect it. I don't know what was going on here. It's not my best picture, but I kind of like the effects of the gray with the color in there. This came out kind of cool. She was, again, riding the dragon, but tried to shade it a little bit. It's a little blurry. That's just Crayola pencil. Nothing crazy. Really impractical houses. A big metal mushroom house. Some fashion. I used to draw fashion doodles all the time when I was in high school. A failed self-portrait. I don't look like that. But it is what it is. Oh, I was drawing bathrooms, showers, kitchens. This was me trying to do environments. Oh, I think I'll put that back. I don't want to have that smearing everywhere. In the library, this was fun with the winding staircase and a bunch of books. Now, these kind of were referenced for the library scene, but I kind of just combined a couple images together. In my living room, poorly drawn. This was a cool page. I want to turn these into some paintings eventually. And then these were some old characters that I haven't drawn in a really... Oh, this is when it picked up the challenge again. So, M was back a couple ways. This is the N characters. P... Who was O? Did I skip O? I think I skipped O because O was the one letter I didn't have a character for, so that's why I drew these random painting concepts. P, Q, R, S, T, U, I didn't have a character. I just made up this guy. V, W. W was fun. This was just, again, Crayola pencil. Came out pretty cool. X, Y, and Z. And then I started drawing something else. I have a lot of concepts for some fantasy art I want to do. Okay, now these pictures here are going to be all reference images from Google because I wanted to practice drawing hair and shading it. So I just typed in men's hair, men's curly hair, men's waving hair, men's long hair, men's short hair. This came out really good. I liked it. I was doing fades. But again, this is another one of those things that I had a lot of fun doing, but it took so much time. I regret doing it to the extent that I did, and I didn't even finish this one. It was taking so long to shade everything. A Jerry curl I was trying to do, that wasn't looking right. It's hard to shade curly hair. I have never really done that before, so I wanted to try. But I just kept doing different hairstyles and types and textures. Then here, this is a way, these aren't referenced here. These are just from my head. I wanted to draw like a person with a fatter, fuller face and thicker neck, and just trying different things. These aren't from reference. These are just made up. And that looks like the Joker. This was reference. And this was reference. That was Jared Leto. It doesn't really look like him here, though. I didn't shade it or anything. Back to references. I want to shade this one so bad. It's going to look so cool. Can't really see it that well here, but he's got his little beard. He's got the faded up top. I made notes where I need to fade it. This is going to be an afro. Then I have curly fro and a mixed fro. There's a difference. I've got the mixed fro going on here. And then these were from life. That's my sister. Was loosely based off my sister, but I didn't copy her exactly. Then here we go back to Google again. I did the same thing with women. I just wanted to practice different textures of hair too, because it's easy to get caught up drawing the same things all the time, and I wanted to just see how the hair flows in different styles and how the light hits it and the shading. So these are all referenced right now. Referenced. As you could see, this was when I was in crunch zone. Running out of time, so I stopped shading that. Alright, and then that's the end of those references. This was me trying to remember how to draw a car, but I failed miserably. Motorcycle, same thing. I don't know what I was doing here, but I don't like that page. And then I started just drawing some fashion, and these are all just from my head. I like to just doodle clothes and outfits sometimes. Started taking a long time because I was shading and doing colored pencil again, but that's half the fun of it. I don't really care. Whatever, you know, it was supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a challenge that you dread, and that's one thing I noticed. A lot of people just started dreading it toward the end, and I wasn't dreading it because I was tired of drawing. I was dreading it because I was running out of time, and I had so many pages to finish, so then that made it not enjoyable toward the end. I didn't do a full 18 pages of thumbnails, but we have about 18 pages of comics here, so let's see. We're back to Manga Monday, as I was calling it. This comic is so much fun to draw, though. I can't wait to finish it. Maybe I'll make it a webtoon. I don't have a webtoon. I've always wanted one, but I've never drawn this many pages of comic and not thrown them away, so something very embarrassing happened to my poor main character here, and then that's the end of that week's pages. And we got some action scenes. I tried drawing some different body types. I was drawing these ogre guys beating everybody up. That was pretty fun. I guess I created almost a whole world. I tried to create an entire cast of characters instead of just random characters that don't connect to each other. Like, this is one of my favorite pages too, for no real reason other than I just wanted to draw this horseman face planting. Centaur. What's a centaur that has wings? What is that? Is that a thing? I don't know. I was just calling him Pegasus Man. It was so much fun. I really want to do it again, honestly. I think that should be a thing, like the beginning of the year and halfway through the year. Just bust out one of these sketchbooks and just see what you can come up with, because I have so many ideas now for things that I want to work on. Oh, these were pen sketches that turned out not terrible. This is a scene I want to do for another comic. I want to do this old-time apothecary, and I want to paint it. I think that would be really fun. We'll see, though. Once the semester starts, I have no time for anything. I just can't wait to be done with school, and then I can work my little job and have my free time to devote to my art. Here's more of that little medieval devil guy. I started having him pop up in a lot of pictures. He was fun to draw. Now we're at page 355. I tried to make up some little creatures. Got some weird faces. I like to try some different things. An artist I follow, Black Bean something, C something, something. I don't know. He does these really great faces, and I just love, they're always very cubist, and he'll color them with pastels. And he had this one little short on there where he drew some random face shapes and would just fill them in, and I thought that was fun, so I wanted to try it. I didn't color mine, but now that I have finished this book, I guess, as finished as it's going to get, I think I'll try and do that. This was a fun page. I was drawing, what I named this, Senior Living with Hey Arnold. I was drawing the Hey Arnold characters as senior citizens, so got Arnold, Helga. I don't even know how well it's showing up here because I can't see the camera, but we'll just pretend Gerald's down here at the bottom. I don't know. It's some random ideas halfway through it. It's like doing this made me just come up with things I wouldn't never think of, and it's just, that's what made half the fun. I got like this scene with the ogre people that captured someone, and their artwork is on the cave, and I drew some kitchen appliances and food. I wanted to color this. I have a vision for this in my head, and I want to paint it. Some skirts. This was a kid's doodle that I found at my brother's house, and it was just the most random, creepiest thing. It was like some girl with some scraggly teeth outside of a window, and it kind of was spooky. I wish I should have taken it and put it in here with this, but so I said I want to draw something like that, and then I spent way too much time shading it in, but it was fun, so it is what it is. More characters. Lots and lots of characters. I think most of these pages, now from here on to the end of the book, are drawn pretty much almost in the same day. Because I was so behind. Oh my gosh. And I don't know how it happened. I was on track for the first part of the month. Oh, and then I was using these little cards from a game as prompts, and it would just have random sayings. It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity type of game, or Apples to Apples type of game, but it was like, oh, have you ever had cosmetic surgery? So I said, let me draw some characters of mine if they had cosmetic enhancements, so that's why this looks just insanely ridiculous, but it was funny. It was like losing a fight or being in a fight. I don't know, I just kept pulling cards out and just drawing things based off of that, so I made a little boxer character. That was kind of fun. Little girl in a hot air balloon. That was fun. Some scenes. This was inspired by a house on my brother's street, and a neighbor has a tree house, and I wanted to put that in there. Little houseboat that's cute and whimsical. I like to do that sometimes. Just draw little whimsical scenes that really aren't anything, but they're fun. Somebody arguing. This horseman, I'm always making jokes about, because he's half horse, and you know about horse genitalia. So he says, I refuse to be objectified, go away. And they just want to see. It's stupid, but it's funny to me. I don't know, I'm immature. Anyway. More scenes, some kind of comic pages. And then here's me spending too much time with colored pencils again. I love colored pencils, but it takes a long time to color things in with them. The way that I color anyway. I like to make lots of layers. It takes a long time. I wanted to draw a horse bucking, but these proportions are really messed up, so it looks kind of wonky. I just wanted to draw people falling off of the horse, and the horse from different angles, and so those are from my head. That's why they look so screwed up. But that's part of how I challenge myself. I draw from reference for a little bit, and then I just try to see what I can remember about the shape, and I try to just picture it in my head. How would that look if the horse was right in front of me? It doesn't always work, but I like the memory exercise aspect of it. I don't even know what's going on here. Don't look at that page. More a self-portrait that you really can't see. Let's look. Let's turn it a little. Half of my face. And some messy hair. I really liked this picture too. This was fun. It started as a self-portrait, and then I just did my own thing with it. I kind of like how it came out, so. More scenes. They're shooting, I don't know, magic at the centaur. He has a shield. Action poses. I like to draw people jumping. I never really draw that. kind of hard to see. Again, my pencils are just so light on some of these pages, but dragging a body. This is one of my characters, Eduardo, and I spent way too much time on this, but I just love him so much. And he has a big, gross mustache and beautiful hair, and I just, oh my gosh, I had so much fun shading him. I want to do a more serious one where I can devote a whole time to it. And there's a scene with him and a strip club. My cat eyeballing some food. Trying to draw that little medieval devil guy in a different style. I gotta stop shading when I have time constraints. There's just no time when you're doing this big of a challenge. Here's where I started darkening up some of those pencils. So that's kind of what I want to do with these other sketches. I don't really want to change the lines. I just want to darken them up so you can see them better. So this is a 4B pencil over top of just a regular number 2. So that's the plan. I started doing kind of like these folklore type drawings. It's like in a fantasy game or a movie. They always have the lore of the land, and it'll be on those little parchment papers or tattered scrolls. So I had fun doing that. Here's that, my little interpretation of that devil man. I kind of took Belly of the Beast and literally applied it to him, so he has a mouth on his stomach. In those old drawings of the devils, they have faces all over their body, and I kept looking up, and I was just like, why do they have faces on their butt or on their genitals? They would have a head on their shoulders, and then they'd have a head somewhere else. And I guess it was just reflective of the vanity or just vain principles of, or traits of men and women and of demons and things. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to kind of incorporate that idea into my little version of him. These are drawings from a sketchbook I have. I just redrew them, and I wanted to recolor them. More of the folklore type of things. Ugh, I hate this page. This part I don't like. I like this part. I was trying to come up with concepts. I have these people that look like they have little ball joints, and they're more like aliens, actually. I used to draw them a lot in high school, but I tried to put them in this book. Here's a little devil man again. This is more of that medieval, creepy style. I want to cross-hatch this so bad and make it look like those old pictures, because they're just creepy. I don't know. We'll see. More vehicles from my head. That's why they're wonky. I started planning comic pages, and I decided I wasn't going to do comic pages because I was too tired. So I drew what I want to happen in the comic, but they're not in order. It's just kind of random ideas about the comic. This is when I was really in the time crunch. Like, I had a huge section of pages. This is part of the end of the book where there was a huge section of pages that needed to be finished that I didn't finish. So that's why these, you'll see the quality is just on a different level completely from the rest of the book. I spent too much time on other things that I shouldn't have in the book, and that's another reason I was so far behind. It's hard not to, though, because once you get in your flow, it's like some pages you just like more than others, and you want to put that effort into them. And with this challenge, you don't have that time. It's just meant for you to throw the ideas out, get your practice in, and move on. But I don't know. In order to keep enjoying it, I had to let myself have that freedom to just put more time into some things than others. It was so much fun, though. I really can't wait. This is actually, some of these last pages are some of my favorites because I really tried a lot of things I never do. Like different poses and concepts for things. Some iffy shading here, but I have so many ideas. I got a bunch of scenes here, things I want to do in more detail later on. Again, with the little funny face shapes, I really like these. They're so much fun. If you want to loosen up, it's a good warm-up exercise. Of course, I wasn't warming up. Excuse me. I was just trying to keep my momentum after a really long drawing day. I was losing so much steam. I seriously had to do about 250 pages in a day and a half. I was that far behind. I really thought I finished this too. It's so embarrassing that I was flipping through here. and just see a big bunch of blanks, and you're like, wait a second, where'd those come from? I worked so hard, I worked so long, I put my heart and soul into this book, and then to find that you didn't actually finish it. It was a hard day too. I was so tired. I just remember I would take an hour nap, wake up, go back and draw, and then all pretty much from page from let me see here. I can tell you where it started. Because I was exhausted. Like from this page to the end of the book was all one day, and it was brutal. I was suffering, but it's my own fault. Oh, I really like this. I was trying to do a fight scene in perspective, and it's not anything complicated, but I'm just trying some different things. That was kind of my whole goal, was I just wanted to experiment and move the bodies and pose different animals and things in ways that I never do. I want to do this as a drawing, a really detailed colored pencil drawing, but it's like horses with flaming manes pulling a flaming carriage. I think that would be fun. So the idea is there. I just have to go back and finish it at some point. But honestly, I don't feel burnt out. I mean, some people, they were saying they felt really burnt out after they did the challenge. They didn't want to draw anymore. They needed to take a break. I feel the opposite, and I think it's because I can't draw, because, I mean, I can, but I don't have as much time as I did when I was doing this challenge. I started drawing babies. This is so much fun, and they were so cute. And these were just from my head, mostly. I just had general images of babies pulled up, but I wasn't copying any particular picture. I just was trying to look at the proportions, but it was so much fun. And a kid, she looks very creepy. Again, too much time shading. And then I went the opposite route, and I said, let me draw elderly people. They don't translate very well without shading, though. The wrinkles don't translate very well, but that was fun. Those were from just, again, same technique. I just pull up a big screen of images on Google, and then I just kind of take a piece from each one. I don't necessarily just copy each one. Concepts for things, poses. I was getting a lot looser at this point and just blocking in figures. I should have did the whole book in this way, but no. I overthink everything and just sit here, and I always got to have a story behind it, or I just start developing a story behind it. Here's me trying to alter this pose of somebody jumping. This was, I don't know why I was stuck on trying to get this right through the whole book. I feel like I did that pose like 20 or 30 times, and I still didn't quite master it. Fighting zombies, my Resident Evil fan character. Here's where we get some more stuff for my oldest comic project. Don't ask. I really like this page, though. Let's see if I can lift it out. This book is so heavy. It's like 20 pounds or something. I like how this came out. I spent too much time. Whoops, I messed up there. Gotta put it back. More scenes. Oh my god, this was fun. My boyfriend and I have this thing with Nicolas Cage, and we just love him. I need to finish it though. I want to do a whole sketchbook slam of just Nicolas Cage portraits. I think that would be funny. A blank page I did not know was here. Oh, this is where that blank section is. I didn't even know. I was so sad. I'm devastated. I don't know how I missed the whole section. There's about 10 pages here. 10 pages I completely missed. I don't know how. Probably because I was going out of order. And then toward the end, honestly, I'm telling you, that last day, I was just working non-stop. Oh my gosh. You could tell. Look how terrible these are compared to the beginning. They're just so sloppy. And I didn't even know what to make at that point. I was like, let me just do portraits of some of my characters. So that was like 10 pages. I got bored of doing it though, and then I had to switch to these other concepts that I have that I wanted to flesh out more from my regular sketchbook. Got a lot of good ideas here. I really want to do a lot with, but oh, I was really feeling it. I hated having that stress of not making my deadline. I've never been great with deadlines ever, and I've never drawn this much, like I said 100 times. And oh, these were from reference. This was I can't remember the website. I typed in figure drawing or poses or something like that, and you can choose the timing of it and draw the poses. I was doing just 3-minute poses That was hard as heck, let me tell you. I'm not, I'm not that fast. And some of those were really hard. I was just like, wow, I wouldn't even know how anybody could do that in 3. But I think I was going about it wrong. I think you need to go in and just focus on the shadows, and then the figure will come out of the shadows, instead of just blocking in the figure, then adding the shadows, which is what I was doing. I can't remember if these are referenced. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I started drawing from my head here. Because if it looks a little wonky, it's probably from my head. Honestly, I feel like the things from my head sometimes look better than the things that I copy from reference, because I don't know. It just flows better. I'm not trying to focus too much on how it needs to look. Then this is technically the last page, but for some reason this book has like an extra couple pages at the end, but I counted them, and this is the last page. This is making fun of an old picture that I drew when I was in junior high, and I just wrote art in block letters and colored these stupid flowers in the background. So that's it. I mean, basically I did 580 pages if you're not counting those 10, but I really thought I was done, and I was just a hot mess that day, but I'm super happy that I did what I did. I mean, I did a lot more than I thought. I personally thought I wouldn't make it past page 30, because I'm the type of person, I always have these great big ideas that are bigger than myself, and I'm not good at committing to it or sticking to it for a long period of time. But I busted my butt during this month, and I didn't make my page counts that were the 20 pages a day, but that's just because some pages I just spent more time on too much time on trying to flesh out, and then I did have to work, so some days that I worked I might have only did 8 pages or so, but it messed me up for the rest of the month, but it was so much fun and I loved it. I would do it again, 10 out of 10. I can't wait till the next one. I'm thinking about it already. Like, I've got the sketchbook in my Amazon cart and I'm ready to get it, and I'm thinking maybe January. I kind of want to do it January and June, or January and July, where it's just like the beginning of the year and midway through, just so you can see what you can come up with, and just for comparison. But oh my gosh, so much fun. It's hard though, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to sit that long. You definitely have to take breaks. I have a little exercise trampoline, so I would just get on that, jump for a few minutes, and then go back to the desk, and just to get your blood flowing. I mean, you don't want to get a blood clot or anything trying to sit for 10 hours at a time. I think another hard thing too is just getting distracted. It's so easy if you've got YouTube playing in the background, or you've got pets or kids. I can't imagine how you would do it with kids, and there's just so many things pulling you 10 different directions. And then if you have a job, of course, that takes time. So there's a lot to it, but I think it's a valuable experience. I don't think it's so much... I don't know. I've heard this thing, a lot of people, they don't like it because they feel like it's more about quantity over quality. I don't necessarily agree with that. Yes, it's about finishing the pages, but it's not just doing pages just for the sake of doing pages. It's just, you need to have a intent behind it. Are you doing it because you want to practice something that you don't? Do you want to just loosen up and you want to be faster? I think if you're going in with that mentality that, oh my God, it's just about making as many pages as you can make, you're not getting anything from the exercise. So that's my spiel. I don't know. I had things I wanted to work on that I don't draw, that I want to be better at drawing, that I want to challenge myself to draw. So I tried to do that. That, of course, takes more time, but I think that's the whole point of it. It's an exercise for improvement, and also just to have a complete body of work. So that's kind of nice to be able to say at the end of it that, hey, I finished a sketchbook. I haven't even finished an 100-page sketchbook in a year, let alone a 600-page sketchbook in a month. So very proud of it. I would recommend it. Some people didn't recommend it, and I was kind of disappointed with that. I don't know, I guess because I still want to draw, so maybe that's why I'm still feeling very inspired. But some people were just burnt out. We're all different, so maybe it's too much for someone. Maybe start with a smaller sketchbook. Do a 100-page or a 60-page or a 200-page. Start so small and work your way up to it. But I think it was valuable. I can't wait to go back and flesh out some of these ideas. I have some larger paper I'd like to convert some of these to, and just put more detail into it, and actually go full on colored pencil. That's my favorite. So we'll see what comes in the future here. But thanks for watching. This video was super long. I talked a lot. I'm not used to talking quite that much in a video, but it is what it is. It was fun to do. It's fun to share. And if I change anything and darken up values or add color, I'll definitely record a new video and add that later on. So thanks. I hope you guys get something out of it, and maybe you want to try this challenge too. So if you liked it, or you have tips, or you did attempt it and it didn't work for you, just comment. I'm interested in hearing what everyone else has to think about it. Or anything really, any thoughts, just put them in the comments. Thanks. See ya.